This lesson's on proportions. First, let's talk about what a proportion is. A proportion is a pair of ratios set equal to each other. So you can see down here I have a proportion. Okay, and remember, ratios are just fractions, relationship of one thing to the next. So once we put an equal sign between those two fractions, that's when we have a proportion. What we're going to be doing in this lesson is determining whether these proportions are true or false. So we're going to actually end up starting with not knowing if something is true or false, if one fraction is equal to the other. We can use this technique called cross products. When you have a proportion, when you have two fractions with an equal sign in between them, you can actually cross multiply. So cross products is what we call cross multiplying, and take A times D and get AD, and if this proportion is equal, then B times C will be the same answer. Okay, so AD should equal BC when we multiply them together across that equal sign. So this is going to help us with some example problems of when we're given numbers and we have to determine whether the proportion is true or not. Okay, so here, let's say I'm asked, tell whether each proportion is true or false. Now, some of you can see that 3/6 here simplifies to 1/2, and you say, well, that's obviously true. It's easy. But when you get down to more difficult numbers like this, cross products is the way to go. You can get things done a lot quicker sometimes if you know that you're allowed to cross multiply because of that equal sign. So I'm just going to take 1 times 6 and get 6, and 2 times 3 and get 6. And since 6 equals 6, I can say that this proportion is true. And if you think about it in terms of pizza, I look at the pizza over here, if I eat 1/2 of a pizza, that would be the same as eating 3 out of the 6 pieces if that was a 6-cut pizza. I had 3 cuts on each side like that. So let's take a look at another one. Let's determine whether it's true or false. Let's do cross products. 3 times 8 is 24. And 4 times 7 is 28. So now we get two numbers that are not equal when we do a cross product. So right there I can say that that proportion is false. And again, cross products is very useful on something when you are dealing with bigger numbers like this last one at the bottom. If I take a cross product here and take 13 times 189, it's hard to see whether that fraction is simplified like the first one. The cross products is the easiest way to go. So I take 13 times 189 and get 2,457. Does that equal the other cross product? 21 times 117 is 2,457. So although these fractions look like they may not be equal, when we do cross product, we actually saw that they are true. So use the cross product, cross multiply, and you could see whether fractions that are set equal to each other or proportions are true or false.